What's going on, Phoenicians? On today's Rambly Commentary, I'm in front of Tully's again, having lunch. This is going to be a short video, and I've been meaning to answer this question for a while, but it's basically like, how do you avoid getting overwhelmed and or burnt out by Japan? What I mean by that is, like, a lot of people come here with aspirations. They know what they want to do, or they have an idea of what they want to do. And either those aspirations don't live up to the snuff, or they have, they come here with, they're like, oh, I just want to come to Japan in some way. They end up getting into English teaching, and they're not trained for that, they don't like it. So they get, depressed, bored, burnt out, upset, really, really pissed off. The overwhelming part, like, when you come to Japan, how do you avoid getting overwhelmed? That's almost impossible to avoid. You're going to be overwhelmed when you come here. It's basically just a bunch of people in one cramped space. You're not going to, you're going to be surprised and kind of like wowed by the crowds and everything here, but it's also at the same time you're going to be, it's going to get to you. It's going to get to you mentally, but the key to that is just prepare yourself. Know what to expect before you come over here. Especially when it comes to, interpersonal relationships. And I've touched on the interpersonal relationships aspect of Japan many times. Other creators have made similar videos discussing, their experiences. I just saw a dude drop his wallet and he picked it right back up. There's a guy beside me smoking a cigar. It's the only time I don't really care about tobacco smoke is because his cigar, it smells good. But in terms of getting burnt out, that's all on you, basically. Now, in terms of what you do for your job, I'm not one to tell you what to do for your job. Remember, I started my own company, and if you came over here on a visa as a teacher just because you wanted to be over here in Japan, chances are you're probably not going to enjoy teaching unless you were trained in that field. If you have an open mind and you end up enjoying it, then that's good. Then you'll have more opportunities for teaching. In many cases, as in with Unrested or a few other YouTubers that I know, they start their own, Eikaiwa or language school. But honestly, you're gonna get burnt out. It's gonna happen, but you can't really avoid that. But what you do to avoid getting burnt out is what I'm here to tell you. The number one thing I can tell you to do, from my own personal experience living here, keep yourself fresh. Keep yourself dynamic. Yes, settling into a routine is good, but at the same time, don't depend on that routine for your own happiness. There are two things that you really need in this world to keep yourself floating day by day. Stability, which is where the routine comes from, and happiness, right? And how you get happiness, really, it's a dynamic process. It changes, you're doing the same thing over and over. You're not guaranteed to be happy all the time from that. But at the same time, if you're happy with your job, if you're happy with your career, then there's no reason to change it, right? The dynamic aspect of that comes from something I tell my friends all the time. If you're unhappy with something, figure out what's making you unhappy and then change it, right? So if that's your career, change it. If that's where you're living, change it. If you can, of course. Financial restrictions may apply for that. If that's your friends, change it. That's actually a huge thing right there. I always recommend people maintain as many friendships as you can, but, if someone's in your life is being an ass to you, or if you just don't like hanging out with them, don't hang out with them, that person might learn eventually to change the behavior that's making people not want to hang out with them, or they might not learn at all, and then more people will ostracize them, right? If that starts happening to you, keep that in mind for yourself, right? And this comes from personal experience. Looking back on the stuff I posted like 5 or 6 years ago on Facebook makes me wonder how I even had friends 5 or 6 years ago, right? The key thing here is, like, if something is starting to make you pissed off or burnt out about Japan, figure out what that is, and either change it if you can, or just reinvent yourself. A good way to reinvent yourself is just go to events, go to parties, meet new people, join a community, join the YouTube community, right? If you're not part of the community here. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be a YouTuber to attend events. But, an example I could give you, and this is from my own experience again, the Tokyo Maniacs, right? When I went to my first Maniacs party, I knew Sophie. I didn't hang out with her that much, but I knew of her. And then from Sophie, I met a bunch of other people, and I started hanging out with them, right? You know, I met a couple, you know, girls that I started dating, you know, right? And that's my own experience, and, you know, if you don't really have an interest in the Maniacs parties, find another group of people, you know? I always emphasize quality friends, not quantity. I mean, yeah, maintaining friendships is a good thing, especially for networking and, you know, business stuff, you know, etc. But keep your good friends, like the good ones, the quality friends. Keep them close, because it's like, you never know when you need help with something. You know, you never know when you'll have a problem that needs solving that one of your friends can help you with, right? I've been holding this chip for a while. I'm gonna put this back in the bag. I think the key point I'm trying to make is, it's just stay dynamic, but get into a routine at the same time. You know, something is starting to piss you off, figure out what that is and change it, you know? If that is you subscribing to my channel is pissing you off, then unsubscribe to my channel. I'm just kidding, that's a bad joke. Well, ultimately, if you're just unhappy here and there's just nothing here that will ever, you know, fix that, then there's no shame in, you know, giving up and saying, hey, I need to go somewhere else to start anew. I mean, I have friends who come here and then they go, you know, they're happy here for a bit, then they want to leave, and then they leave, and then they're happy again, right? It's always the thing I keep driving home. It's like, figure out what's making you unhappy. And if Japan as a whole, if the society as a whole, if, you know, living here is making you unhappy, then there's no shame in leaving. I mean, obviously, if you're a good friend of mine and you leave, I will miss you. I mean, there's a lot of friends who have left that I really, really miss. I wish they didn't leave, but they are very happy in their condition right now, so Shogunai, ne? I hope you guys took something from this quick vlog. I mean, I've wanted to address this for a while, and I hope this gives you guys some good advice. So, old guy walking behind me. If you guys have any more questions or want advice on a particular topic, down below in the description. As always, I'll see you on the next video. Why are people yelling behind me? Take it easy, Phoenicians.